you have going on.
Wow. Okay. I sort of felt it in my gut. That's why I wanted to call, because
Yeah. Well, be optimistic. It looks like your hard work is going to be rewarded. So.
Thank you. Thank you very,
very
much.
much. Thanks very much for calling, Vicki. I appreciate it. And hopefully things turn out well. And if they do, give us a call back.
I sure will. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's great. It's interesting how she's got quite a powerful chart going on then.
She really does. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to talk about her natal chart that we couldn't address, but I didn't want to. I wanted to focus on the solar return just to amplify, show what the power is in the solar return chart. But
absolutely, yeah, that's the way to go.
The natal chart corroborates, and then the transits and the progressions and the solar arc directions, it says the same thing. I agree with you with that rule of 3 times. It's like 3 strikes, you're out. But no, 3 strikes, you're in. Because if you've got something that keeps repeating, you know this is a major issue for that person.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that. I mean, it's like validation. I even say that with people who I know who go and get psychic readings, and they come back and say, well, I say, get another one. Get it from somebody else. Get validation, because you want to be sure that, you're getting the right information and things are lining up for you as you expect them to, or as you need to get the most information you possibly can. It's pretty valid to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and if you don't like what you hear, you're empowered now. It's not a death sentence. You are empowered to say, okay, what can I do to change this energy?
Exactly. Now that is a very, very good point that I want to touch on before we go any further, because when as an astrologer, and you go through this yourself, I'm sure with your clients, when you give somebody news that may not be considered to be positive, or you give them news to be wary of, they need to be able to be empowered, because we all have free will. What astrology does is it gives you the sort of the playing field for where you're about to enter, and you have the ability to turn that energy into either a positive outcome or a negative outcome. That is within your realm.
Right. The last caller, for example, she had Saturn in the 6th house all year. She could choose to be miserable going to work every day and be depressed, or she could choose to say, you know what, this is time to pay my dues, which is what I told her. You just do what you have to do, and don't dwell on the feeling that, oh my gosh, if I have to do one more job like this, I'm going to scream. It's all your perspective. It's all how you look at things, how you choose to work with the energy.
That's very, very critical. I mean, that in itself is probably the most significant piece of advice that any of us can give, is to sort of use the energy that comes your way and see it as a springboard. If you see it as an opportunity to really leap off and change, because, what happens is that when planetary alignments fall into place and they present you with challenges, it is the universe speaking to you directly, saying, okay, it's time to wake up and let's get your act together here. And literally that's what you need to be doing, and using that energy for that purpose.
Right, absolutely. I love astrology. It's the most beautiful language, isn't it?
It really is, and I think it is so remarkably rich with symbology and with accuracy that it's irrefutable. I mean, I've never yet, and I've been trying to prove it wrong all my life, just because I'm a diehard skeptic. It's not that I don't believe it; it's just that I want it. I want more valid proof, and it's sort of, that's how I feel about it. And I'm, perhaps many other people feel the same way, that they want to be able to prove it.
That's the nature of astrologers, I think. We are a prove-it type of metaphysician.
Absolutely.
We really need the facts.
Yeah, you do, and it's really critical. Now, Maria, one more time, what's your website so everybody can get to you if they need to?
Oh, wonderful. It's www.insightfulastrology.com.
Okay. And Maria has written the solar return portion of a well-known astrology program, so she's very well-versed in this particular area, and I think it's a very valid predicting tool, especially for making plans. Now, people who are trying to decide, significant things, like we had our caller earlier, I think it was Gigi was her name, who was trying to decide whether or not to get a divorce. Hopefully her husband wasn't listening. But, this is the sort of thing that, knowing this information can serve you very well, because it'll help guide you and provide the insight and the strength to get through that, because timing really is everything. And, when you come down to it, that's really the secret to the power of astrology, is being able to maximize the transits at the right time and the right place and get that to work for you.
And
it's really critical.
And to know when not to act. Just as important as it is to know when to act, it's to know when to pull back and say, okay, this is not the best time to go and sign a contract or go try to meet someone new.
Or how to avoid an argument with your loved one or whatever. There's plenty of things that it will show you. And it's very valid. I mean, there's been plenty of times when I've looked at my chart in the morning and it said, not a good day to be into an argument, and I will keep my mouth shut, even though I can feel myself bubbling over. I mean, these things do happen.
Yeah, and with Mars on the 3rd, it's hard to keep your mouth shut. I know that.
It's not easy keeping my mouth shut any time, which is why I do this. It's funny. Well, anyway, we've been listening to Turning of the Wheel today. My guest has been Maria DeSimone. She's an astrologer. Her website is insightfulastrology.com. I encourage you to visit there if you want to get more information about your solar return. It'll give you some great information, especially with regard to career planning, child planning, relationship issues, where to invest your money even so far. It can help you very clearly with that. So it's really, really a good thing to have. So, Maria, thank you very much for coming on today. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
And I'm kind of curious to see what Vicki has to say if she ever calls back sometime.
Oh, yeah.
To see what we've got in the way of information there. Once again, you're listening to Turning of the Wheel. My guest has been Maria DeSimone. Her website is insightfulastrology.com. My name's Chris Flisher, and my website is chrisflisher.com if you need to get an accurate reading there. Thank you very much for listening. Tune in next week, and as always, be open to possibilities. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Turning of the Wheel with your host, Chris Flisher. To schedule a reading with me or to order artwork, you may visit my website at www.chrisflisher.com. That's www.chrisflisher.com. Or email me, and you can call me at 508-517-0969. Thank you. And as always, be open to possibilities.